Ja, herzlich willkommen zur Minds & Money. Ich habe jetzt Rick vom VMS Ventures und North American Nickel bei mir. Und wie immer muss ich sagen, wenn ich Aktien davon besitze, ich bin Aktionär vom VMS Venture und dadurch besteht ein Interessenskonflikt. Und ja, steigen wir gleich ein, weil das ist ja eine ganz spannende Company. Rick, you're CEO and president of two companies. So start with the first one, VMS Ventures. You have a joint venture with HudBay and you are close to production. But the interesting thing is you have carry interest into production. So you must pay nothing for the mine and everything is paid by HudBay. So how the things going forward?
Excellent. HudBay is doing a wonderful job at Reed, which is a very high-grade, small copper mine in Manitoba. Neil Richardson, our Chief Operating Officer, actually worked for HudBay for 13 years. So the guys who are building the mine worked for Neil. So we are very close to the fellows that are doing the work. They're on time, they're on budget, and HudBay is very driven. Everybody needs cash, and HudBay is one of those companies that wants cash. So we're going to see full production April 1st in 2014. You're right, we are carried to production, which is a remarkable thing for our shareholders. And we expect to see cash flow in 2015. Depending on the price of copper, that'll tell us how early in 2015 we see cash flow.
Okay, we have some discussions on discussion boards in Europe. What this carried interest to production means. Means this that HudBay pay everything for the mine, but for the working capital you must put money in also, or means this also the working capital is included by HudBay?
It's included.
So you pay nothing for the mine?
They take our debt obligations.
Okay.
And they pay that off through the revenue from the mine. When that obligation is complete, we begin to take 30% from the mine operation.
Perfect. You have a very interesting exploration project, and you spin it, and that's not a spin out, but you are in VMS Ventures, you have 25% of North American Nickel, and you are also the CEO and president of North American Nickel. So, and you have some fantastic drill results, and the share price is going sometimes crazy, but please can I give you a little bit of update on this project?
Well, North American Nickel, interestingly, it was formed with a Sudbury project in mind, and the vendor of the project wanted it in a new vehicle, not in VMS Ventures. And it turned out when we saw the Manitoba project in Greenland, the guys who brought that to us would rather have had it in that smaller North American Nickel capital structure. But we wanted to make sure that the VMS shareholders had a piece of both of those opportunities. So the VMS shareholders own 25% approximately of North American Nickel. Now this is a very large piece of property in southwest Greenland, which is mild and moderate due to the Gulf Stream. It's not icy Arctic. It's a 75-kilometer belt along nickel belt that's known of. It has its own history, but the story really is new technology today, in particular helicopter-borne EM technology, which flies slow and low, have been able to light up targets and anomalies that the guys on the ground in the 60s couldn't see, and even Falconbridge and Kamenko in the late 90s couldn't see with the technology they had. So we've got a great advantage with this new technology. Well, that's evolved, and the third year was 2013, and now we have some incredible high-grade intersections close to surface, in particular in one area in the north we call the Imiak Hill Conduit Complex. We have 3 mineralized intrusions. If I can hold my hand up like this, there's high-grade nickel in each of them. And the question for the shareholders and for the public at large is what's in the palm of the hand. And when we go drilling next year, we'll have done some work on the surface to allow us to look deeper than the helicopter. That will establish those deeper targets, and we'll be chasing to see what's in the palm of our hand.
Okay, exploration is expensive, and the markets are really not in a good shape. So what is or which ways you are going that you can finance this exploration?
Well, we're fortunate in that the largest shareholder in North American Nickel is the Sentient Group. Their fourth fund, which is $1 billion fund, has put somewhere in the neighborhood of $10 million into North American Nickel. They own 40% of the company. VMS Ventures owns 25% of the company, has money in the bank. So we don't anticipate any problem financing North American Nickel, even in these very difficult markets for the juniors.
Okay, coming to the markets, we tell us that that's really difficult, the market itself. And what is your expectation about the resource sector, resource market in the next 6-12 months? We are already on the bottom, or maybe we're going deeper? What is your feeling?
It's difficult to know. I think in our situation, we're so focused on our own companies that we sometimes forget there's a lot of companies out there with no money. I think if investors are looking at companies trading below a nickel, and they aren't able to raise money, there's only one way they're going to go. They're going to have to roll their company back. They're going to have to capitulate. We had a couple of companies approach us in Manitoba recently, talking about whether we could take them on for stock in VMS. It's so difficult, and I think investors need to look very carefully at the balance sheet and ask the question, can you raise money? Who's going to give you this money? And what will it do if you're raising it at a nickel to your capital structure? So it's a very challenging environment. I don't see that changing quickly. But as I say, I think you still can find opportunities out there where the growth profile is pretty clear. And what we like about the North American Nickel story is it's still a discovery story, and that's where people make so much money. The discovery investor can still look for those, and that's what we think North American Nickel is. But interestingly, people can play it through VMS. So you got the backup of cash flow coming in VMS, but you own a quarter of this. And if we're right, and this, I mentioned this is 75 kilometers long. If this is the next nickel camp in the world, then obviously 25% of that's going to be worth a lot of money too.
Absolutely. Thank you for the interview. Good luck for the future. And yeah, drive the share price crazy.
We'll do what we can. Good to see you.
Thank you.